Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is The Press, and we're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We've now been joined by our guest, who's the chairman, Lovewalk Media, Obadiah Mbila. You're welcome once again this morning.
Thank you so very much for having me.
And happy Easter celebrations
And
to
send
you.
everyone happy Easter, Nigeria. I don't know, many people have many stories to tell about Easter. Some are good, some are not too good,
Sure.
some are clearly very bad. But there is one good news that all of us must take home. Christ is risen.
Indeed, Christ is risen. And it's also of the same spirit that we must learn to forgive and unburden ourselves of all of those burden in our hearts.
It's all part of the risen Christ. We have been liberated. We're supposed not to, in any way, enslave ourselves again through the use of attitude that does not promote positivity. Christ is risen simply means we are liberated. Those things that place us down, make us poor, has been taken away. The stone has been taken away. And we must live with that frame of mind, more so at this time of very great challenge. Let that thought of being free always be present so that it can become a dominant thought to deflate these other ones, the negative ones that are taking us to Golgotha.
Indeed, freedom indeed. I like that statement. All right, viewers, be reminded our phone lines are now open for you to call in and join the conversations this morning. And I'm sure it's holiday time, so you're definitely watching us at home this morning. All right, now let's begin with, because we're talking about Easter, let's begin with the Easter message of Bishop Matthew Coker. He made a statement, said our leaders look like men in drunken stupor. It sounds to me like someone or people who do not even have their plans in place yet. But I'd like to get your thoughts on this.
You know, we have been talking about these leadership challenges, not only in our own climate, Nigeria, but also in Africa. And it does appear that the diplomats of the international community recognize that once you can dehumanize anyone and make him look smaller than his worth, then you can always manipulate and handle him the way you want. That is their attitude towards African leaders. It is the responsibility of the African leaders to say, come on, we have grown past this. Now, when people talk about Easter, they see it just as a religious event. For me, Christ is a universal Christ. Christ is the center of life. Christ does not know any religion or tribe. It is a global, a universal element that must be present to make our life worth living. So, if the African leaders have realized that they are the ones that are holding their people back, they will rise up to the occasion to face the challenges and say, no more. We will not allow you to dictate how we rule, how we govern ourselves. No, it must be our own initiative. So when someone like Bishop Coker, who has interacted with so many leaders, call them, is it president, ministers, he has interacted with so many of them, and became disappointed by the totality of what he can find as the value of the leaders, describing them like people that are drunk. Drunk in the sense, drunk to the extent of stupor,
yes,
so that they no longer recognize what they are doing.
Exactly.
How else can you describe a people that has so much to change their life and the life of their people, yet they are behaving like they don't understand the value of what God has, the resources God has put to them? Is it human, speaking of human capital? Is it free resources that God has endowed us with? What will you count and leave the other? Yet the people that are supposed to harness to cook the meal appears to be putting salt in a different pot from the one that they're supposed to be putting it.
You know, part of the conversations that he had on Easter Day, yesterday, was also the fact that they need to come up with a robust plan for Nigeria's healing. He complained about the fact that they are using vigilantes and hunters to fight terrorism. Those are challenges that he has also brought out, you know, to the fore. What do you make of all of this?
It is to his credit that some of his public criticism may have either awakened the consciousness of Nigerians ordinary Nigerians, or it must have touched the leaders from the positive side. We must keep shouting until we are heard. But the question is, are we right to begin to judge a system that has not been planned for, that has not been implemented, a system that is haphazardly brought together in order to confront a challenge that we created? This security is a challenge we created. Okay,
what system are you referring to here?
He was referring to the use of vigilante and so on and so forth.
Yes.
The question is, we start from the known to the unknown. I quite agree with him that we need sophisticated intelligence other than the local ones. But the local ones has their role to play.
Because I keep wondering, hasn't the experience taught us enough that in order to combat this terrorism crisis that we have, we must, get people of, the necessary qualification and skills and even the equipment to combat this terrorism?
When you say qualification, the question is what qualification? Is it paper qualification as in having maybe
I'm referring to trainings. I'm referring to trainings and experience, the capacity.
Yeah. That's it. You see, I have argued very strongly so that our system has not been robustly built to contain all the necessary elements that will bring out what we desire. For instance, in an environment where robust planning is made for security, no one will tell you that even the local vigilante has a place in that place. No one will tell you that the traditional rulers have a place in the setup. No one will tell you that the regular police have a place in the setup. Intelligentsias and other security elements that would make the whole work. So it is not even fair to begin to criticize what we have put so far, because this is the best we can provide for now. So when you criticize it, what else do you expect of us? The military have complained about armaments, short of ammunitions and all that. And like they say, if you ask me, now who I go ask? If the military are crying out that the police and so on and so forth, that the equipment is not sufficient, the question is, who do we run to at this time?
At 60 plus, we're still in a situation where we have leaders, according to Matthew Bishop Cooker, who are like drunk in stupor. At 60 plus, a man at 60 plus is no longer a child. In fact, 64, let me stop calling it 60 plus, because in a few months, in 6 months' time, we'll be 64 actually. So a man at 64 is no longer a child. So why should a man at 64 still be struggling to get life together?
Let's accept that it is 63. Even at 63.
Plus 6 months.
Even at 63, the worrisome aspect of this is that the people leading don't appear to take all these things into consideration. We have been here for 64 years and we have not added any value to our nation. I've been hanging around in politics for 25 years. Doing it, it's been business as usual. How? Since business as usual is not working, how can I juxtapose and feel into a different encasement that is not as familiar as what I have been doing? How can we do something different so that we can have different results? So until we have a very sound and cool-headed leaders who are determined to do the right, because it's one thing to decide to do the right. It's another thing to do it, because you are living in an environment of ndiekwe,
Okay.
Meaning some will agree, some will
not
agree. So a situation where you want to do, man, This thing needs to be instructed. I'm not lawful. I'm not lawful, please.
That's an error that I'm sure they will correct from.
So, where I'm going to is that we have not seen leaders that are leaders indeed, who will be determined to do the right thing despite the pressure that is on them to do otherwise. The last we saw such a leader was in Obasanjo. Till today, we don't have a leader that can say, I must do the right thing. But we have leaders that will accept to do the wrong thing over and over again, so long as it favors their religion, so long as it favors their tribe, and so on and so forth. Okay,
so I want to ask you this question. Whose fault would it be that we have such drunken to stupor kind of leaders in the last how many years? And how would you rate the current administration so far?
You know that some people will blame the masses, that the masses have not done the needful.
But who would you blame?
For me, there should be no blame game. We have all been together in the mess. All of us have contributed one way or the other to it. One of the greatest challenges humans have is the fact that they judge themselves very easily. They don't understand that we live in phases. Life is in phases. It's a journey that comes in phases. And so when you are in your first phase, let's say the first 50 years, there are some errors that are called human errors that are bound to come. And in coming, it now helped to bring an evolution of a new generation that will detest the way things were being done and how they were handled by embracing a new way of doing things. Where we have problem is that where the society is not or does not have the moral agents that will fine-tune where we are and help us to know where we're supposed to be going. That is why people operate in confusion. That's why people operate without clarity. That is why leaders make mistakes, because we need to know, yes, we have spent 63 years here on earth as independent country. What really happened to us? Why are we where we are? And what did we do wrong in the past that need to be corrected? Are we prepared to correct them? Now, it is this critical analysis that should help the social sphere of our society to heal. Bringing more challenges through unguarded criticism does not help. So that is why I am not going to say, oh, the youths are to be blamed. The leaders are to be blamed. All of us are to be blamed. And it is the acceptance of this that will help us to find what we should be doing.
It's just like the statements that Remi Tinubu made. She said working on Nigeria is a responsibility of every single one of us. But like I also asked, I said, how would you rate this current administration so far?
The administration
looking at the economy, looking at the security, looking at some of those key aspects.
The administration is just under 1 year. And I am not going to rate it by the productivity of the economy they are managing.
Okay.
I'm not going to rate the administration by the stamping out of security challenges as they promise. I'm not going to go into that. I am not even going to rate the administration. I am going to censure and analyze their take-off point.
Okay.
And where the take-off point will likely take them to, notwithstanding what comes in between in these 4 years.
Okay.
Did they take off right? The answer is no.
All right.
Every administration need to, first of all, criticize itself, so that when other critics comes, it will be that you have already evaluated yourself.
Of course.
So, and the mechanism to do this self-evaluation is always in and around us. So we don't need to import experts to come and explain what we need to do. you know the administration that you succeeded. You knew where it took Nigerians. You knew very well whether the people were satisfied or not. And then they left some of the lyrics of their administration for you to inherit. No doubt, because it is a governance is continuum.
Of course.
So from one hand to another. As you
yes.
take the baton, it is up to you
Pass
to
it
know
on to another
whether the baton has been maced and therefore it can slip out of your hand. So if that is the situation, you need to still spend 1 second or 2 seconds to clean it up so that you will be able to take off very smoothly. This is where the presidential transition committee becomes very, very, very critical. What did they do? How did they prepare the coming administration to match the challenges that was left behind by the outgoing administration? When this is not done, every other thing you'll be doing in between the time you took off and the time your administration is concluding is patch. You will be doing things to impress people, not that you know where you are going.
So you're trying to say right now they are trying to impress Nigerians?
It's patch. Everything about the administration is patch because your takeoff point was not clearly spelled out, clearly defined. You know where you're taking off from, and you know where the destination is.
Yes.
So it's not what you learn in between.
But saying their takeoff point was not clearly spelled out, it's like
yes,
you're not really expressing what you plan to say. So I would love to hear the aspect of their takeoff points out. It's not clearly spelled out. I want Nigerians to hear it.
Yeah, you see, like I have said, every one of us knew what Buhari means to Nigeria and to Nigerians.
Okay.
And you are inheriting an administration from him. Your first job is to ask yourself, will I like to inherit the enemies of my predecessor or convert them to my friends? I know he made much enemies. The question, do I want to inherit the enemies and struggle along with them, or convert them to become my friends? And every good leader wants to convert the enemies to his friends, even if it's going to keep them at arm's length. But you need the rolling of friendship to go along with them.
Of course.
Now, if you are saying, I know the past administration inflicted pains on you, I don't care how much that pain is still paining you. I need to roll on and do my thing the way I want to do it. I'm not so concerned about how it affects you. I know it will affect you. After all, it has been affecting you. So it will continue to affect you. I'm not the last. Maybe even after 4 years or 8 years, another person will still come and it will still affect you. But now it's my turn. Let me savor the moment. Let me take all the good that is in it. Let me empty the content of the luxury that I came here to meet. It is a choice. How a leader.
But is that what it looks like?
Of course. First and foremost, let me tell you something.
What about the angle of I am doing this because we need to get better?
No. You see, when an administration, I have told you something, the theory of takeoff point. Takeoff point tells where you're going,
headed.
Whether you know it and you have defined it, you have clearly stated it out, so that you will run with the vision. Now, if a president wins a presidential election, and instead of repaying party faithfuls, he's looking for technocrats that can help him fix the system. If he does that, he would lose the friendship of his party men, who expects from him a reward for their struggles
and loyalty.
But if he takes the technocrats, he will be in love with the masses, who now realize that you mean well for them. They will cheer you, but you have lost the party behind you. And if you take the party along, you are satisfying the party men. That is what Alhaji Olamide Tinubu is doing. He's satisfying the Lagos boys that worked with him when he was in Lagos as a governor. Yes, beyond that, after his 8 years in Lagos, he continued to build a cartel that has run across this country, and some of them have risen up to become governors, and so on and so forth. And it is a time of reward for these people.
But his cabinet is not just about Lagos boys.
I've spelled out two group of people that are naturally going to inherit whatever that comes with Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency. One, the Lagos boys. Please, don't toy with them.
Okay.
Two, there are the layers he has attained since after his days in Lagos. He quietly moved into National Assembly and began to influence the emergence of the leadership of National Assembly, notwithstanding that they were not in his party. So he walked across other parties to raise men that he would need by tomorrow. This is what he did. From there, he went ahead to sponsor governors in the north, in the east, in the west, everywhere. Some of them succeeded, some of them didn't. Now, this is the time that the Bashoro is settled down for once since these 20 years plus.
The kingmaker.
The man has now come to take his seat because it is his turn. It should be the turn of those guys that he used along the road. And that is what he's doing. He is doing right as far as the party men are concerned. But there is no way in this method that he will win the masses. It's not possible. And you can't eat your cake and still have it.
All right, because you made that statement around this political sphere, there's a statement I saw on one of the headlines that Atiku is using Senegalese election as a blueprint and now calling for some sort of a coalition amongst other political parties. Do you see this as something that can fly?
Unfortunately, there is the truth that you don't tell Nigerian politicians. I don't know whether I will, by this question, try to tell it to the former Vice President, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. You don't tell Nigerian politicians the time, because they assume they already know the time. And in thinking that they already know the time, they would go and do the wrong. Atiku had always believed he knows the time. Many people don't even remember that Atiku attempted to contest 2003 presidential election with his Oga, Obasanjo, because he is not used to time. When he realized he can't make it, he brought in Ekweme. So those of you that were old enough to know Obasanjo, Ekweme, it was Atiku's handwork. And then he came to 2007 and he contested. 2011, he managed to say, okay, let Jonathan go. 2015, he contested with Buhari. And probably won Buhari, but could not continue to prosecute the challenge of taking back his mandate. And then 2023. So if he's coming in 2027 with a fresh idea, I would only advise him, see, your idea may work, but you may not benefit from it. That's all.
You know, truly, the idea may work, because sometimes I wonder, we've always been clamoring for a third force, and now he's trying to call back, you know, he's been rallying oppositions. Do you see a situation where he might not even be interested in being the flag bearer of the party? Should they successfully come together?
This has been, unlike Alhaji Tinubu, who tried to scale down his presidential ambition and kept it in check until when the right time came. Atiku had used every moment. In fact, if you announce that there's going to be another presidential election next year, Atiku will want to run. You know, so he does not have good time influencers who will tell him, we have read the time, this is what you should do. Because as a good politician, there's something that you should do to remain relevant. It mustn't be when you contest, but when you want to contest, you are showing people all your armament, all that you have. So sometimes that concealment has not been possible with Atiku. We're a situation of saying, let another man go. Let me stay behind and make him succeed. It has not been possible with him. And that's what nature is calling him to do.
Sometimes I wonder why some of our political leaders always want something for themselves. They don't even look away from that, because part of the reasons that people said made PDP what PDP is today, as almost as scattered as it is as a political party today, is because one person is not willing to step aside for the next person to actually take the lead. So sometimes I wonder why it may seem as though some of our political leaders want to take their personal ambition in front first before the ambitions or before the interests of Nigerians.
It's unfortunate, but that's what as politicians we do. It is your interest. And by the time you look at his interests, you've discovered that it includes the interest of the wife, the children, the brothers, the sisters. He will come out of this before he starts considering the interest of the party that is going to use their platform. They don't even pay respect to that party because they can always abandon the party and run to another place. And that is why you see the PDP is what it is like today. In 2003, PDP was a family to reckon with. And the name of Atiku and Ekweme and others were a name to run to. But in 2003, when Ekweme ran against Obasanjo, something that's supposed not to be thought of in the first place. The president is there. He's doing well. Every one of us is singing his praise. He has the right of first refusal. Unless he says, I'm not running, you shouldn't introduce another presidential interest into the party. That was the beginning of the killing of PDP. So for Ekweme, who is the face of PDP, to have contested against himself in that 2003 election that was masterminded by Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, it was the beginning of the PDP fall, because we begin to fight against, the party began to fight against itself. By the time it was 2007, he pulled some of the members of the PDP to form a different alliance altogether so that he can contest the presidency. By 2011, he has returned back to PDP with all those men that he went out with. Of course, some of them, those that had been elected in another party, continued. So is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar building PDP, or is he dismembering PDP? This is the question that needed to have been asked and answered even before the contest of 2023.
Anyways, still talking on this political table and some of the rifts that are happening here and there. So I saw this El-Rufai Sani rift, which has been a long time coming. They say Lukman urges APC's intervention. Do you see a situation where this can be resolved anytime soon?
Well, you can't underrate or...
This used to be very good friends. These two people used to be very good friends. I remember listening to both of them. In fact, I was in an interview.
El-Rufai and...
yes, El-Rufai and Sani. There was a time, yes. No, Governor, this lawmaker, no. El-Rufai and Sani, Shehu Sani.
No, Shehu Sani and El-Rufai has not been...
They've had a rift for a very long time coming.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What's new now?
I just found this headline on. It says El-Rufai and Sani rift. Lukman urges APC's intervention. Okay, I want to believe this is the current governor's rift. I didn't open the details of the story, so I want to believe this is the current governor's rift. But I wanted to know your opinion on this, because this is beginning to look like anytime somebody comes on board and has a protege or...
Why do you think that he was so interested in the protege? Why?
I don't know.
You should know. Why do I need someone to replace me, the office I'm leaving? Why did I need...
Does it always seem like they must always have an interest, or they feel like, oh, this person is qualified, I can bring this person in? It's looking like this issue between Wike and Fubara, and now Obasani and El-Rufai.
When you answer the question, why they want someone
why they
to
always
succeed,
want a protege,
you'll be able to understand other things that happens during and after they have gone in as governors. So Obasani is making claims of the type of money that they are paying to service their debts, you know. And this is the debt left by El-Rufai. So you will not be, if you were El-Rufai, you will not be happy that he's bringing you to the public, of course. And we don't know what's going to follow this. It might be impeachment like in Rivers State, you know. If not impeachment, there could be other means. But I just pray that they should allow that Kaduna state to heal. It was a trauma all throughout El-Rufai's years for people of Kaduna South. Now that they have come to find a governor in Obasani that they have embraced, they should allow the people of Kaduna to rest and enjoy the presence of Obasani.
So you think this is more like a political tussle and not just about this financial stability of the state?
Every of this, whether you want this financial stability aspect of it or the politics, it's all politics. It's all politics. When Obasani was accepting the ticket, he didn't tell us what he discussed with El-Rufai, because he had a discussion before the acceptance. He made some promises before it was concluded that it must be Obasani or no. He has not told us all this. So those people who enslave themselves in the custody of their kingmakers, they will always cry out when it becomes unbearable. But when the going was good, they didn't tell us, even up till now. Fubara has not told us all that he agreed with Wike, that he's not, he reneged from, which is the reason why Wike would want him to be removed from the war. So, but why we as humans, we always fly in to support the people, not the kingmakers? We just became like, this is a time to revenge. This man just used our vote and made this man a king. This man where he make me, that we are going to support him so that it will pain him. That's all. That's all what we do, you know.
Anyways, because you said it earlier that this government is just trying to do patch. There's a statement coming from Governor Doyediri that says palliatives not solutions to hardship.
Sorry.
Palliatives not solutions to hardship. But if palliatives is not the solution, but at least, don't you think it can cushion it to some extent? I want to get your opinion on this.
Yeah, there is. When we were small, when we were younger, we'll go to farm to make heaps for our parents to plant yam. So in between the time the food will be ready, you know, for us to eat, they provide what looks like palliative, you know, to enable us continue the labor, you know. We eat something to sustain us so that we can continue the labor until the main food is ready. Palliative should come as something that will help the people to run what is before them, the reality before them. It should not be that as we provide palliatives, that means simply all the matter is gone, you know. No. And if a government is looking at palliative in that way, they will not get it right. They should allow palliative to come, but that will not take the place of the planning, what you have put in place to enable these people cope with the present suffocation. You know, if you throw palliative at them and continue doing what you're doing, the palliative will finish and they'll continue to worry you, to remind you that they have not eaten. So palliative should be something that comes to ameliorate not something that sustains the people all through.
All right, that's really thoughtful. And now there's this story as well that I'm seeing here. It says we're determined to defeat terrorism, banditry. That's coming from Chief of Army Staff. A lot of people say we hear these comments every day. So why not just forget about saying it and just walk the talk?
Yeah, we have cried out and say it is easier to talk the talk, but it takes more practical work to move the talk, to walk the talk, you know. So all this thing, promise, using words that would make us think we have hope, it can only serve to pacify, but it will not help to mold a new character that is required to go with this government. It's unfortunate that army is now involved in the work of the police in our land. It's all about the wrong things that are happening to us, and we think it is normal. What is the soldier doing with tourism? It should be the police that is checkmating anomalies that are coming in that sector, not the army. The soldier is trained to kill, not to protect the civil populace. The police is trained to protect the civil populace, to mingle with them. It's trained to be their friends, you know, as long as the friendship is allowed to blossom.
Because these statements that is coming from them, they even said they are pushing towards the final onslaught of terrorists. Like, they make it seem like the end of insecurity is just right in sight.
Yeah.
And you remember that during ex-president Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, there was a time that he told us that insecurity was going to end in 17 months. And it went viral. It was a statement in everybody's lips, like in 17 months, the president said insecurity is ending. That 17 months has come and gone. In fact, several months have come after that time. And now these ones are also assuring us now that, oh, we are just like at the final lap of solving this insecurity issue. Do you see that ending anytime soon?
You know, the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a continuation of the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. So it's become their method. The method may have been working for them. They may believe that it will continue to work for them. There is no need promising that which you cannot deliver. If you now elevate it to the place of governance, that means the people should not expect anything better other than this promise, using words that pacify. Where will it take us to? The people are hungry. The insecurity in the land has made it difficult for Nigerians to pursue their legitimate businesses. And you are still toying with the issue of security, promising upon promise, with no verifiable evidence to show that, yes, the insecurity thing is stemming down and we are eliminating the culprits. The culprits are still at large. Who really kidnapped the children from Kaduna?
We just heard that they were freed.
Come on, is it not time we know that we are being played? They're using us as instrument of play. We just tell them that they have been released. No ransom was paid, nothing. Government say we should not even talk about ransom. The truth is that they have made me to believe that the insecurity gangs are owned by men that are highly placed in our political circle. They own the criminal gangs. Otherwise, this thing would have ended if it was not aided by those with power. This thing would have ended. It
may seem as though now we have to start counting decades in celebration of what is happening in the country when it comes to insecurity issues, because it's been over 10 years. We're approaching 20 years of this happening. it's just so unfortunate. And there's also this one I want us to round up with that says imperative of managing fallout of the Okwama killings. They said the people of Okwama are already calling on the federal government because they are dying of starvation and snake bites in the bush where they are currently hiding. What's your final words on this?
You know, I sympathize with the Okwama people because from day one when this matter came, I know we will arrive at a place where Okwama will find it difficult to rise again. It's going to take some time. I want to console those of you that are here and encourage you to take heart. Face it, it has already come. The Oriental brothers in one of their songs says, if your life brought this type of challenge to you, who are you taking it to? You must take it as your own. You must own it up, and God will see you through.
Amen. Thank you very much. It's a very good place to end. If even as we also wish them a happy Easter and happy holidays to our viewers. Thank you so much, Obadiah.
Thank you. It's really a happy Easter again and again. I throw it to my friends there. I also want to commiserate with my friend Elder Emmanuel Mba, who, while others are celebrating Easter, he's burying his dear wife, who is also my sister. May the soul of the departed rest in peace.
Amen. Thank you very much for your time today. Chairman Lovewalk Media, Obadiah Mbila. Thank you.
Nice being here always.
All right, viewers, thank you so much. We hope that you enjoyed the program. And apologies, I saw the calls coming in, but I think the network is really, really bad. We hope to get your calls again tomorrow. And from me and everyone in the studio, we say bye for now. See you tomorrow.